Okay, we're going to use this time to look at some 3D models to explore some different sedimentary structures. Here's an example of one of these Sketchfab models. This one's by Shackleton, and it shows a couple of animal burrows, perhaps lungfish burrows, that are preserved in red shale of Devonian age in West Virginia. If you look at them from the top, you can see they're not perfectly cylindrical. In other words, the cross sections are not perfect circles. This suggests perhaps some tectonic flattening during Appalachian mountain building's final phase, the Alleghenian orogeny. So these images are made using lots of individual photographs that are then stuck together into a 3D model that you can view on the computer. And we'll have links to the different models at the bottom of the video. But these are burrows. Next up is a beautiful example of stromatolites. Stromatolites are these microbial mats from photosynthetic slime that was growing in the sea. It is a nice example to show basically the 3D structure of these stromatolites, so you can see that they are overall dome-like in their aspect. And then when you cut through those and then you polish that nice face and make it clear what's going on inside, you can see that upward doming structure. And that's basically a great geopedal indicator to indicate which way was up, which way was toward the sunlight when the slime was growing. Another example of stromatolites here, this one from the field. This one is in Death Valley, California. Again, you can see that overall 3D dome-like shape. And when you zoom in on the cross section, you can see those upward arcing laminations indicating the geopedal up direction. So this is another nice example of stromatolites that lived in an ancient ocean. Here's an example of ripple marks. This sample is actually at the London Museum of Natural History. Fantastic place to go and look at geological specimens, but this is a real nice example showing oscillation ripple marks, the sort of ripple marks we would expect perhaps in a tidal lagoon or something like that, where the waves are gently oscillating back and forth and creating crests on the ripples that basically are symmetrical on either side. So this is not the sort of ripple mark you would expect to form in a directional current, which was moving from point A to point B. This is oscillation ripples. Next up is a nice example of crossbedding. This is from some sandstone in Utah. And you can see the prominent bed about where the mouse cursor is, showing beautiful crossbedding that is tangential at the bottom and gets truncated toward the top. This is a nice geopedal indicator that indicates that this specimen is right side up. It also tells us that at least for that large bed that the current was flowing from the right toward the left. And there's a smaller bed up top that shows the same thing. Final example is a beautiful specimen of modern day mud cracks. This is where a mud puddle dries out and you end up getting the desiccating mud shrinking in volume, so it cracks. And then the individual little flakes of mud tend to curl up around the edges, so they tend to be concave up. And you can see how they stick together and actually have enough rigidity to support themselves up off the ground. So this is potentially the source material for mud chip rip-up class too. Up at the top you can also see a bonus feature, which is some footprints, some trace fossils that basically have been tracked through this mud.